It didn't bring calm, it didn't bring peace, and it never will.
US President Donald Trump withdraws from the Iran nuclear deal and prepares to reinstate economic sanctions against Tehran. Hello, I'm Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat.
The Iran deal.
The decision by the US president to walk away from the Iran nuclear accord should come as no surprise after he described it as one of the worst deals ever. Donald Trump ignored appeals from European allies to stick with the deal created to stop Iran's nuclear program. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani says his country will negotiate with Europe, Russia and China to remain in the nuclear deal if possible. We begin our coverage with CGTN's Nathan King at the White House. And Nathan, US President Trump called this an insane deal that never, ever should have been made. Did the US president present any evidence that Tehran was not in compliance?
No, not really. I mean, he repeated Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister's demonstration of last week, which seemed to indicate that Iran was thinking of making a nuclear weapon up until 2003. But of course, this deal was inked in 2015. In fact, despite the fact that 95% of all its uranium has been shipped out of the country, thousands of centrifuges have stopped spinning, and it has a verification plan which is the best ever, the US really did not like this deal. They felt that Iran's behavior in the Middle East, its development of ballistic missile program, should have been in the original deal, and that's one of the reasons they're pulling out. Let's listen to the US president.
The Iran deal is defective at its core. If we do nothing, we know exactly what will happen. In just a short period of time, the world's leading state sponsor of terror will be on the cusp of acquiring the world's most dangerous weapons. Therefore, I am announcing today that the United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal.
So what happens now? Well, sanctions start snapping back. Essentially, those sanctions will be targeted on Iran's oil industry, energy industry, of course, financial sector, and petrochemical industries, as well as others. And they're thinking of even imposing more economic measures as they go along as well. Companies have about 180 days, 6 months, to try and end deals that they may have started or face severe consequences. This could shut out European companies too from dealing with Iran, even if they try and stay in the deal.
Nathan, now while this was happening, there were also developments on another nuclear issue, that on the Korean Peninsula. President Trump also announced that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is meeting with Kim Jong-un in the DPRK. What do we know about that meeting?
Yeah, the parallels are quite incredible, aren't they? You know, some people have been comparing this to when the Bush administration pulled out of dealing with DPRK back in 2002, 2003, and then they're having to deal with them again, now a fully armed nuclear state, and saying, hey, isn't this what's going to happen with Iran in 10 years, now that you've abandoned the deal? But yeah, quite an incongruous announcement where you say you're pulling out of one nuclear deal, and then, of course, you're sending your Secretary of State to Pyongyang, and that's what he announced, for a second meeting with Kim Jong-un to hash out details, we think, for the Trump Kim Jong-un summit. As yet, no date or location, despite the fact that the US president says that's locked in. Well, reporters traveling with Mike Pompeo say, no, that hasn't been fully decided. And remember, there was talk of releasing the 3 US citizen hostages last week. Well, still no news on that as well. Of course, these talks with Kim Jong-un just come a day after his second meeting with President Xi of China as well. So we still haven't got a date or a time. It's going to be interesting to see if developments here to do with the Iran deal have any effect on that potential meeting.
Thanks, Nathan. Nathan King there from the White House.